As a graphic designer, your portfolio is everything. It is not only the first thing that your clients see, but it's also what lands you some awesome opportunities. But it is so hard to stand out amongst all of the amazing designers out there when everyone's portfolio looks the same. And that's why I want to talk to you guys about Framer today. Framer is a no-code website development tool that gives you so much flexibility with your design and makes things look so visually appealing. You not only get to create interactive designs, but responsive designs, and it gives you an interface that feels almost identical to Figma. Now, if you guys have been here before, you know I've talked a lot about WordPress and how that was my go-to web platform. I still love it, but I have been considering transitioning to Framer for my own personal website for lots of reasons, one of those being that I want it to feel very interactive and I want to be able to diversify my offerings as a designer. One of the reasons I really love Framer is it has built-in hosting and a drag and drop building function, because when I use WordPress, I'm always using Divi or a visual builder to make it easier to design, but with Framer, it all comes with the platform, so I love it for that reason. But enough talking, let's jump on over to my computer and I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to design my own personal portfolio website, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to use Framer. If you are new to Framer, I really wanted to show you guys how awesome it is, all of the different templates that they have. So these are just some example portfolio templates that are available. You can simply just go to the Framer website and underneath resources, you can search for marketplace. And then within here, you can also search for free plugins. So if I go here to templates, or not plugins, sorry, templates, we can also search right here and select free. And all of these are free templates, which is awesome. I did quite some digging because there is a lot to choose from. And I actually decided that I kind of want to try working off of this template just for the purpose of this video and to show you guys like how awesome it is that you can take this and make it your own and really customize it. But I really feel like this is kind of my style. I like more simple, but I also was taking a look at like this one. I think it's a pretty cool idea for like a way to display a portfolio. This is like a portfolio example page, but if I go to home, you'll be able to see like the different layout options. So I think it's really cool that Framer comes with all these different like ways to begin, and a lot of these look really nice. So I would definitely scroll through this, because even if you are doing a custom site, you can have this as like a base to start, and I really like that option. But also, I was looking at this one. I thought this was a pretty cool design. And like I said, these are totally free. And I feel like for being free, these are some really cool options. I really liked the style of this website too, especially with how dynamic it is. But like I said, I just tend to lean more minimal like this, and I really like this design. So I want to show you guys my current website, which looks like this. I built this on WordPress, gosh, a couple years ago now. Time is flying by, and I still really like it, but it's just, I want new pictures. I want to change it up. I just want to update it because I feel like there's more I could do with my website. And I do like my portfolio, but I'm just bored of it. I don't know. I just want to change. I want to like refresh, and I feel like a new website is exactly what I need for that. So what you do when you find whether you want to start with a template or maybe you want to start completely from scratch, you simply just go to Framer. You can set up a free account to try it out, and once you have your account set up, you can go into projects and you can just start a new project. You can start completely from scratch like this, where you're just like adding pages and starting from scratch with like a completely blank page. And it's very familiar feeling to Figma, so I feel like you guys might pick this up really easily. But for me, I actually was able to add this design to my account. You just go to the main template page, and I'm not going to go search it again, but I just searched this theme, and then there's a button down here that says add to Framer, and I added it, and now it is in here, which is perfect. So what I want to start with first is adding in all of my fonts so that we can work off of my branding. So I'm going to click on H1, and I think, let's see. Yeah, so we have to upload my fonts, which I believe we can do. Upload a custom font. You're just going to want to, if you haven't already, add some text to your website. I'm going to select this, and I'm actually going to go under assets here, and we'll be able to see all the styles for the website. And this is always where I start. I want to make sure all my styles are in here before I even get too far. But within this, I'm going to go to the H1 text, And when you click in here, what you have to do is go to this drop down and select custom, and you can upload fonts from your computer. Super easy. So I'm just going to click on that, and I know you guys can't see this, but I'm searching the font on my computer so I can upload it. Perfect, super easy. And now we'll be able to select that as the main font. You can also change your color of the font in here, which is really cool that they have that option. Just let me actually click back in here, and let's just do the same thing for this. It might take a minute to reflect, I believe, but it's also not loading here. So let me try. Sometimes you have to upload the correct file of the font. So like the WOFF file or the TTF or OTF. So just make sure you have the right font file. And I'm gonna go to F2WOFF, and we're actually gonna convert it because I think that might be the issue as to why it's not showing the font. Okay, so let's try to upload this one. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna go over here and check as to why. Okay, it looks like now that font is uploading in here, so we might just not be seeing it because I don't think this is actually an H1 here. Looks like it is, but it's just not assigned to the right style of the website. So I just selected that and it updated across all of them. But I want to go in here and I want to edit the style slightly. I like to have my spacing, my letter spacing a little bit down more, just like that. And I also want to upload all the fonts for this. So let's just upload it here, and we'll just keep doing that for all of these. Now, even though I want to do a rebrand, I don't want to rebrand my fonts. Actually, I do like my font choices, but I don't even really want to change my logo. I just want to give my site a refresh and possibly add some more brand elements and like supporting graphics to just bring my brand to life more. Okay, let me change the body text. So Overpass is actually a Google font, which your Framer account will come with Google fonts. As you can see in here, it comes with Google, font share, open source, custom web, all this. So that's really awesome. But yeah, Overpass is a Google font, so that is perfect. There we go. You can also, it looks like this theme comes with some link styles, so like how it looks when you hover over something that has a link. So once I get my colors in here, I might update that. And then also our colors. So I have a fig jam board going right now. I love doing fig jams for figuring out the styles that I do it for like mood boarding for my clients, but also for myself. So this is what my current mood board's looking like. I'm leaning towards this color palette. It's really not much different than what I'm currently doing, but I just kind of like the sagey green color. And yeah, so let's just go with this for now. I'm gonna grab this red color. We're gonna bring it in here, and I try to replace the colors that have like, so this is like a darker color, so I want to do my dark colors in my color palette to replace that so we don't have to do too much crazy editing on the template, especially color wise. So let's just update that. And then I think this would be a good accent color. Let's close out of this. And then now we have two light colors, which is actually perfect because we have this beige and then this kind of like peachy beige color. Too many tabs open. Actually, I'm gonna bring in this green because I don't want too many beiges like clashing with each other. And I kind of want to see what this looks like. Now, I actually prefer this lighter color being like that main background, and then let's try this green again. Maybe something like that. I could always come back and change this, but now we have the colors in there. You can also update. It has this like CMS code block, which I don't want to get too much into, and then the block quote styles as well. But it looks like now that we've updated our colors here, it's going to update it even across all of these settings, which is great. One of the reasons I just love Figma, and this is confirming it. So it's really cool with the Framer. You can have components similar to Figma. I'm going to get those words confused, Figma and Framer. But with components, we can set up designs for our buttons ahead of time so it looks consistent across the website. So I'm going to click in this, and I want to just update the style. So click out of here, and let's just change it so it looks a little bit more accessible, user-friendly. And I do like this border color, but I think I want it to be the brown that we use. Perfect. And then same thing for this. We need that text to be white or the cream. And then let's double check that this has a good border. Perfect. And then in here you can also see like how you can update, like there's so many settings for the design of all this, which is really cool. Okay, let's go to the accordion design. I think that looks pretty good. Let's just make sure the border color is correct. Looks good. And then same with this. I don't love how big this text is, so let's actually update this to like H3, and that looks good. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going through all of these components to make sure the styles look good, and that doesn't look like our font, so let's double check it. Okay, so it looks like it's pulling in the H5 text, so let's just double check that we have that set up. And I actually do like the overpass mono font. It'd be kind of a fun little change up. Cool, that looks good. So yeah, you can see here the navigation and how it's designed for like tablet, and like it's really cool that you can customize the design of your menu on each of these different formats. I just love that about Framer. I also want to make sure this border is correct. But I love this because it's actually very similar to my current site where I have like borders around the different sections. I just love that look. So this is going to be very seamless for me to kind of transfer things over. And now we have a primary call to action. So I want to change this color a little bit. And then with the buttons, we're able to, let's click on this. Okay, so with the buttons, we only have one design right now. You can always add more if we need to, but I think that's fine. That looks good. And then let's go back to assets. The footer. So the footer design, when I design websites, I always start by designing the header and the footer. I always use the analogy of like a hamburger or a sandwich. You get the bread first, you fill in all that, and then you add all the filling, which is like the body of the website. So let's start with the bread, which is the footer and the header. And for this, I want to just change the colors to match our branding. And I'm also going to bring in my logo. So let me go grab that. I think I'm going to use this one for the footer. And I literally just dragged it right in and it uploaded it here perfectly. And I want this actually above. So let's see. Yeah, like right there. Perfect. And let's just make sure the borders are correct. Cool. I like that. And then this looks good too. I really love how Figma reflects what you do on the main design for all of these. It's just so helpful to see like what it looks like on the iPhone, tablet, all of that. So that looks great. Let's actually copy over this piece of text for this here. There we go. Copies it over for all of them. I actually kind of want my body font a little smaller. I know that like a lot of clients always want fonts bigger, but I just love the look of it slightly smaller. Oops. Okay. Now let's go to link and bio buttons, and I want to change this to a little bit bigger, just like that. I also want to make sure that this border is correct. Cool. Project card. Okay, so this is where we're going to really customize our portfolio. So I really actually like how this is so simple. Like I do like this design. And so if we click on this, we'll be able to see that it's pulling content in from like the project title. So it has a really great like system where you update a project and it just pulls it in here. So I actually really like this. I think I'm going to keep this design. I might just change the border to the dark brown. And then actually I forgot to go into my heading text and change this color. I want most of my text on the website to be brown. It's just easier to read. Perfect. Okay. And then the last thing is this service card here, which I don't even know if I'm going to be using on the site, but I am going to just come back to this once we know where we're going to be using this and we can design it. But I just wanted to show you guys like where the assets are and like the components for those global elements that you might be using throughout the entire website. Let's go back to the homepage, which is looking way more branded to our style, especially when we look at my site versus this one. Definitely looks great. So let's continue designing the homepage. And I also will show you guys how to add a project and how it links to these so that we can take a look at that. Okay, so before I get too far in, I just wanted to show you guys like how Framer pulls in the projects for your portfolios, especially since we're talking about portfolios for web designers. So when we go to the project tab here, we'll see this little drop down and we can click on 6 projects, which is lining up exactly with what we see here. So let me click on that 6 projects and it is going to show you the overall style of like how the portfolio project is going to show up. So for me right now on my portfolio, I do have like a little bit of info on each project. So if I click in here, we'll see I have like some text here, stuff like that. And I think we can really make this super fun and dynamic with like the scroll effects. But yeah, in here you can change the thumbnail of the project. So down here at the fill, we can click on that. And this is exactly where you're going to add all of your project info. So I think it's really user-friendly. You just add in your image here and you can describe the image for SEO and stuff. And then in here we can add that information about it. So it looks like this is pulling in the collision project. And then if I go up here to the top, we'll see this drop down with all of the other projects that we have going on. So it's really cool because we can literally just copy over what I have on my site and update these pages and make them like super dynamic and fun. So I'm actually going to save a few of these images so that we can start to fill in that page so I can show you guys an example. So let's delete this and upload that in there. Okay, so there's a limit to the size of your images on the free plan, so just make sure that they're less than 5 megabytes, which this definitely should have been less than 5. It's like huge. So let me just resize it and we'll add that back in. I'm actually curious if you can drag and drop this. Yeah, you can literally drag it into this area too. You don't have to constantly click in there. Okay, I don't really like that as the main image, so let's actually just replace this. Add that in here. Cool, and then let me go save this image. Awesome, and we can also change the focal point if we want it to maybe focus more on the logo. We can have it like that. I actually kind of liked it more in the center. Cool. And then, yeah, basically right here is where we would update all the text. So I'll just copy this over. And I actually kind of like this idea of like the client feedback in its own box. Let's save it, X out, always make sure to save. But as you can see, it reflects it across all the different devices, which is just so cool. Yeah, I think that looks really cool. I definitely want to add more dynamicness to it, and we'll change the name of this. And when I say dynamic, basically what I want it to do. So what we can do is add some like fun effects. So like, for example, this entire layer here, the hero section, if I go over here to scroll section, so if I go over here to effects, I can go to like appear, scroll animation, which I do like how those look. And let's try section in view, and then we can do like a fade in, scale in. They have so many fun options to make it like really dynamic. I don't know how that's going to look yet, so let's actually preview it. Very simple scroll effect. So let's actually try some other ones. Like on scroll, it will probably only, yeah, it goes when we scroll a little. But yeah, I think adding effects like that just makes the website so much fun. And I believe you can even do it for the whole layout. So let's see. Yeah, so as we scroll now, things will load in, which I kind of like how that looks. We'll keep that for now. But I want to go back to home. I just wanted to show you guys like where you update your portfolio. But if I go back home, we'll now see that updated image here, which is so cool. Love that. But yeah, this is so easy to edit, so easy to design, and we can change the images here. So I'm going to go back to my homepage and we'll pull in my brand image. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pull in a different image because that's the whole point of updating my site. I want a different photo for the front too. Okay, so I picked this photo, and from here we can also change whether we want it to fill, if we want it to fit, we can change all of that. I love how you can make it fill though, because if you know anything about WordPress, sometimes that's kind of hard to do. We can also change the position or like focal point, and you can change like the fill color if you wanted, but I like this image here. I am going to kind of change the focal point slightly up a little, or no, sorry, down a little. Yeah, I think that's cool. And then I think it'd be cool for these icons to load in with an effect. So let's do effect, maybe appear on scroll, sliding out from the left. I think it'd be cool. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so it's doing it there. That's not really what I wanted, and it's only doing it for that icon. So let's actually remove that animation and go to layers. I want to click on the whole stack here, and then let's do effect. Scroll animation. I'm just curious what scale it looks like. Okay, so as you can see, like it scales a little bit. So I don't know, just some fun different ways to make your website a little more dynamic. But I also want to go up here to my header, and let's go to the nav bar in assets. And I also want to update my logo here. So once you have it inside of your like artboard or your layer here, it actually snaps it to the design. And I believe that's a setting that you can set up so that it's easy to make sure things look consistent design-wise across everything. But yeah, I'm thinking, so if I wanted my logo to be different from the desktop, we can actually just delete it over on mobile and change the design here. So for mobile, I want my circle, or sorry, yeah, for mobile, I want the circle logo. Yeah, something like that. And we could keep that for the opening one, but I also want to change the logo on the tablet opening to the circle logo as well. I think that looks good. Let's actually make sure that is centered. Yeah, so as you can see, you can set, so as you can see, so with the Framer designs, this little like lightning bolt style is basically what allows you to make these connections through all of your assets. So like when I click on this, then I can drag the arrow down. So like when that's clicked, it will click here, and you can set up your settings. So on click, it will open that up. So it's kind of cool that Framer has those options. But yeah, I think that looks good. And it looks like my menu here got a little messed up. So let me just undo to get that back. There we go. Okay, cool. So we have the nav bar set up. Let's go back to the home page. Yay, that is looking so cool. I'm excited to continue designing this and building it out. But I really just wanted to show you guys like how easy it is to build a website on Framer and how it really doesn't require any code at all. And it's honestly super fun to design. So I'm going to continue building this site out and redesigning my personal portfolio so that we can then go to our projects and start adding all this in. Okay, now if you're also considering either making the transition to Framer, offering this to your clients, then be sure to check the description box below because I have 25% off for you guys for your first 3 months using Framer. So definitely don't skip out on that. That is such a great deal. And I do feel like Framer's pricing compared to a lot of the other website platforms out there is so fair. And I know sometimes it comes down to the pricing for the website platform and whether the hosting comes with it and if it's easy to use. And I really feel like Framer has all of that. And that's why I wanted to share it with you guys today. But if you guys have any questions at all on Framer, let me know down below. I'm going to be making more videos about it, so I'd love to hear what you guys think. But I enjoyed showing you guys behind the scenes of my website design process. I'm also going to be showing a lot more behind the scenes of my full website refresh on my Patreon, so be sure to check that out if you want to see more in-depth tutorials. And I'd love to just hang out with you guys in there, so don't forget to check that out. I also have a link for that down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd appreciate it so much if you gave it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next one.